Welcome back to the second episode of Healthy Air, Healthy Communities, a new series that is exploring the issues of air quality and its effect on the health of our community, our environment, and our economy. In the first episode, we learned about the Environmental Protection Agency and the impact that federal legislation has had on the quality of our air. In this program, we're going to explore the health effects of air pollution and the negative influence it can have on those around us. From fuel combustion and dust, to cigarette smoking and common household products, we don't always think about what we're inhaling into our bodies, but these pollutants and toxins do their damage all the same. First, we're going to look back to what some would call the good old days, when every breath was a breath of fresh air. Or was it? In a time before automobile exhaust fumes and industrial pollution filled the air, we learned that even then we were contaminating our environment.
In the early days of Indiana, as people were settling in what would become Indiana, the air would have been pretty pristine as far as any type of pollution before settlement came in, before industrialization came in. There was no, unless naturally occurring events were happening, there was no real interruption in the air quality or anything that would have made the air quality less than what it would be on a normal basis. As people move in, the more people get here, people will start to affect the overall air quality with things such as burning wood or later on burning coal. Just a number of people here, whether it's external air quality or internal air quality, if people are having fires in their stoves or in their fireplaces, certainly that will have an effect on what they're breathing on a regular basis in their log cabins or later in their homes. And little by little, as the population becomes greater, certainly that will have an effect on the overall area and the environment as people burn wood and coal, and those particulates are distributed into the atmosphere here in the tri-state area. Well, I think a lot of that starts to go hand in hand, the change in air quality here in Evansville and elsewhere in the country, with the development of the Industrial Revolution, the era of John Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie, when those men and others that are operating here in Evansville start to really put forth factories and industries that are pouring a lot of coal particulates into the air. I think that's a period of time when we see that really happening here in Evansville or elsewhere. Evansville had major factories during that time frame. Furniture factories, there were places making plows, there were places making stoves, there are any variety of industrial applications going on here in our city. And most of those were operating off of some type of coal-based energy.
Coal mining was one of the most important reasons for Evansville's growth in the 19th century and early 20th century, because we had transportation with the river. We also had coal right here, and that's why Evansville became the state's industrial center, and in the 19th century, the second largest city. We had the coal to burn, and that was progress.
The smokestacks that you see in photographs of Evansville were all putting out coal. We also see during that era of time that it's not only the factories, but people are still using coal to heat their homes, particularly in the winters. That's adding a lot, and as Evansville population is growing exponentially, as many urban areas are during this time period, as urbanization really starts to come to rather an apex in the latter 19th, early 20th century, with more people living in more concentrated areas, and in this, again, the winter months particularly, that air quality would drop with people burning coal or potentially wood in their homes, and that going up in the atmosphere. Certainly the air quality on the internal part of the cabin of log cabins would have not been probably what we'd want today, and certainly during the winter months that would have been enhanced, particularly because you wanted to keep warm, you're burning more wood inside your home. But yet homes weren't as airtight as they are today, so they would have had airflow in and out of the house to a greater extent, so you did have that exchange of air going on between openings in logs or whatever. I mean, they tried to seal it up, but wouldn't have been to the point that things are tuck pointed and so secure today as far as exchange between inside and outside air.